Malcolm X University. I think somebody called the Ralph Sador Fund funded them like 15 black students plus their own student counselor who was black and an assistant dean in charge of black studies at UNH. Well, either someone had a fabulous sense of humor or it was luck of the draw. But the people they picked from were the real thing. Yeah. They weren't no. And they had names like JT, carry pistols. They were, ghetto tough. And they had suspended the entrance requirement for the school, to allow the fact of diversity, right?
Forceful diversity.
Now, no one cared in their school.
But they lived in their own,
had their own little house they got, which was, I don't believe it's there anymore, but it was right up into the campus where you take a right there. It sort of was next to where the police station. Oh yeah. There was no police station. And that was called Bumbamba House. With African flag. And they gave them their own band.
what?
Oh, it was the era of liberalism in that sense.
What year is it?
I really don't remember. I ended up being an advisor to the Black Studies program, like on the university's one, psychology. It was so fucking fun. All them boys wanted. Booker and I on the wall one day. JT came up. This guy built like an old stuff. He says, name's JT. How you doing, JT? What's up? He said, what's this shit, dude? I said, it's a white liberal college in the middle of New England. And these people feel guilty because black people don't get the same breaks. So you guys caught whatever break this is, you caught. Oh, boys got any drugs? I said, oh yeah, we got drugs. How much? I said, free. Don't have acid. We never had no LSD. So we got, I want some, weed, and we don't got no weed. LSD, we take LSD all day long. So here you go. They turned into major, that's all they wanted.
You hear him yet?
And they had the best fucking time they ever had in their lives. And then, of course, there was the thing with the girls. Black guys, wow, all the girls wanted to go out with them. So they had acid girls, their own van, their own house, with no house mother and no rules. And they're from Malcolm X University in Chicago. I said, let's tell JT, JT, it's big. It's really hard. It's big. Well, I ain't going to take no classes. Okay. I said, I'm here. I was an academic counselor. I'm here with you. Don't take any fucking classes. There's me. You get A's in it. Don't worry about it. Because you're a special study. So they became like that. Then at the same time, UNH was just starting to report football players from the outside. And they brought a bunch of big white guys from Boston, South Boston. Not a group that mixed one with the black guys. Chicago. Right. And they had, and Durham had never had, like, a disturbance. But inevitably on Friday nights, they, call some black kid nigger, and he'd go back to his Mabumba house and get his bros. And all the boys from South Boston grab baseball bats, right? And right where the Tin Palace is now, where you used to, the two forces would converge. Durham had one cop.
No thank you, none of this.
His name was Red. This big good old boy. And a chief and a cop. One cop on duty and he'd give him back. And no, I don't think they had campus police. They might have had, a couple of campus police who went to dances and collected tickets. Well, it's fucking guys with baseball bats from South Boston, pistols from Chicago, in Durham. We were sitting there, we weren't orchestrating it, but we were just like watching the movie, everything I bring you up. And every now and then they'd come to blows, but nothing really serious. Scuffling and throwing it. Three guys get bloody noses. And shit, and then they break it up. And the union leader from Manchester got all. William Lowe was a Republican. He's a racist, fascist, Nazi, anti-black, whatever. So he'd blow it up into a race riot. It just was, it was like a week, what are you going to do on Friday night? We don't want them to come down and say to the black guys, fucking honkies, just stop you with the girls. We're going to straighten this out now. We're from Hampton, because if you don't straighten it out right now, we're going to have a problem down the road. Here, here's a action.
So they'd get all fucked up tripping their balls off, like, in the middle of this conversation.
But they'd be so mad, because they're ghetto, that they could somehow handle it and not be falling down the street. I mean, I fall down the street. Not them, because they have pistols. Well, no one had a pistol in Durham. It wasn't a pistol kind of town. And they'd stick them in their belts right where they could be seen. And the cop would come up. No guns! So, on that wall, from the wall we had the girls, the women, that's where we staged at. Yeah, this, I meant to remember this, but we started something called Super Frat. Super what? Because they put me on probation, social probation. I told them to run a frat. So I formed a new fraternity called Super Frat. Friend of those who have no frat. And Super Frat, we got every crazy motherfucker that was there. And we had Super Frat cheerleader tryouts. There we had all the girls who wanted to be cheerleaders come over on, Baghdad Road. Some guy had a place they wouldn't want. We just had chairs set up for ourselves. And we'd bring them over there. And we'd take acid and they'd flip over and do shit. We'd pick up Super Frat cheerleader. It just went on. How far did you want to push it? And we got called in for Super Frat. Gene called me and said that you can't have a fraternity. You can't register your fraternity. So we're not. We're an unregistered fraternity. How do you do that? I said, you just don't register. Why would I register? And I couldn't join. I can't join. Yeah. This way I'm president of it. He goes, I can get you. I don't need to get up early in the morning. Don't try. I got it covered. Gene Kesey, his name was Gene Kesey. There's a street named after him somewhere in Durham. I think Kesey Drive. Please fuck it in. Please, absolutely. But, and the wall became, we had our own newspaper. We published alternative, called The Wall, Thoughts from the Wall. Jess Gangway, down on campus, who still lives. It was sort of like a straight Republican businessman. Loved us. He was his wall, I guess. He was cool. He was saying, "What do you guys think?" In fact, he reminded me of that about 2 months ago. I was in there buying something. He goes, "How you doing? What do you do now?" One of those good old days. It was fun.
He's like the...
He owns that, yes, he owns half a drum.
Is he really old, dude?
Yeah, you don't look terrible old. He's very thin, has a breast cut still.
Yeah, kind of real friendly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bought you.
He's, he owns half of, really, half the drum.
What was Durham like back then? I'm kind of curious.
Well, he had a town in campus, and a store next to it, which then that was called College Corner. And it was a like coffee shop. But then they turned that into the first bar down on the top.
Down under, which is now the tap room.
Then you had the laundromat.
That's still there.
Then you had Young's.
Still there.
And then you had, gift shop, whatever it was. And then the only other store was, I can't remember the name, it was like a regular bodega. Grocery store, some big Irish guy from Jimmy Grimes. From Dover on that. And he would sell beer to anybody. Like that was it. Which is cool. Then across the street, you just had the pizza place, and I think there was a travel agency. I really think that was about it. There was no shopping center.
What was there?
Yeah. Some faculty housing, small little things.
Of course, Mills was there. Dining Hall was there.
And that was really Main Street. That was it.
Was that frat house, ATO?
The supermarket that's around the corner there was there, but it was a regular little supermarket. Was it what? Right?
Was that big white house next to the town campus by the wall?
ATO. Yeah.
ATO, was that still there?
Yeah.
Still there.
Okay. They were big customers. We're the only show in town.
Yeah, what was your friend's name?
Richard Van Time White.
Okay.
He was, if you ever get to speak to him, he was right out of the airport. And I was teaching summer school. And he was matriculating from just getting out of the airport. And he was uptight, crazy. Mad, like he was straight. And he was in my class, right? And I was teaching philosophy, introduction of philosophy. And we were debating marijuana. I had to debate all the time, and I had common debate. So we were debating marijuana. So after one of the classes, like a 2.5-hour class, once a week, he gets all bent out of shape. So I'm walking out of class, right? After I finish, he comes up to me and says, "I want to tell you, I think you're an asshole. Marijuana makes your hair grow long, makes your fucking teeth grow long, kill you, kill you." I looked down and I said, "I think so." He goes, "Yeah." So I lived up right over the hill by the town, what was the town? son. Well, I mean, I don't want to be school hippies out in the country. I'm in the Air Force. This is the food. I said, I heard you, just shut up. So I walked in the house, I rolled up my feet, smoke this. Or don't smoke it. Smoke it and then shut up. He'd never smoked marijuana. It's his first time. He smoked it, and how many years later? I mean, he was wired. He was a rugged little shit, too. You're going to do what you do with that shit, right?
So how old were you when this all happened?
I graduated from UNH with a sociology, psychology major. And I went back for a year there in postgraduate study to pick up a major in philosophy.
When you student taught? Well,
Yeah. Well, actually, the guy ran the philosophy department. It wasn't really, I would never do it now. I was in charge of the whole course. I mean, I was under his supervision. He would go do what you want. That's another story. We got Booker reminded me of when I was talking about the time they had a secretary in the philosophy department, which was Hamilton Smith, basement.
yeah.
And there was this young lady who was a secretary. So we used to like take acid and go there and report with her. But she was actually secretary of the department I worked with. And so I was giving oral exams. Another course I taught was logic. So I had like 5 kids to do an oral exam. Kind of like undergraduate. And kids would come in. And I'll never forget it. I always picked up there a lot. Kids would say, well, what am I supposed to do? But I was going to ask them, what is Moses calling it? Only one question. Get up on the desk. Get upstairs. Stand up on the desk. Now, jump off the desk. Flap your arms. Jump off the desk. Flap your arms. The question is, prove to me that you weren't implying. Teach kids be great. To prove to me you weren't implying. I'm going to tell you what the answer is. And that's fucking hard. But you know what, man? I don't think it's worth it. Yeah. So, one thing. They talked about what people can't fly. Well, people fly. Not well. But you fly. So what is flying? Tell me how language works. I give them A's. Not bad. Well, one of them reported me to Evan Price. What were you doing? Don't. Just. So I'm not going to say a lot of things to you. I'm just going to say, please don't do that. It could be misunderstood. I said, how so, Asher? He goes, call me Dr. Moore. I said, okay, Dr. Moore. Because, well, it would seem as if he may have been making fun of the process. I know I was. He goes, okay. So just do what you need to do. Don't do that again. No, he said this is fortunately he said the semester's almost over. Too late. How do you mean to do well? Sad doing. That girl, Patricia back in. Oh yeah? They pulled Reagan after what, 2 goals, 3 goals? Third goal. But he didn't have it going on. It was super. It was an Iranian foreign student. Was it James Farshishi? James Farshishi was that who were against the Canadian mail? Yeah, what was that? No, I said you were kept the Canadian mail. Oh, no. I never checked.
Yeah, I think I want to write about Superfat.
Yeah, Superfat was rock. So we said that we had inside information that the Shah of Iran had grabbed this guy, James Farshishi, who was one of our students when he was in Boston, and shipped him back to Iran where he cut a zero. That's a story we wrote. And we were super frats cause, you know, certain early stories of cause, like Jimmy Fonda or something. We gotta make it right. We had demonstrations, placards and shit.
Did you made all this shit up?
Oh, absolutely. We had a press conference up in Memorial Union Building with this guy named Danny Ryan and a guy named James Catch.
They just made the fucking paper and everything?
There were fucking reporters there. And they were declaring that we were, had one with our brother James, and we're going to get the Shah of Iran. It reached the globe. And then it reached a little article in the Times, like in the middle of the Times. Students unite behind. So the Shah of Iran at that time was identified as Saddam, a really bad guy, tortured, and Savak, his secret police. We would wear Savak uniforms and shit. We'd make up. So that's fucking. It gets out of here. Once it gets clicks out like that, it suddenly becomes true. Whether or not it has anything to do with anything wasn't a fucking problem. We had reporters, we held this big press conference, and we had a few bucks from selling drugs, so we had like donuts, coffee, and shit, and microphones in front of these guys, and Catch, who played tight end for the UNH, funny motherfucker, Catch, Jimmy Catch, he was from Pelham, New York. Catch could double talk, and he could make it sound like he was speaking a different language. And he had the skill, he didn't know fucking word what he's speaking. But he really was quite talented. He was entertaining. Right? He got in front of the reporters, and he would give the speech in Croatian, or whatever the fuck they speak over there, right? And Danny Ryan, who was from South Boston, was a linebacker for UNH. Danny would translate it like in the UNH. Catch, you go, oh we put people in the audience who jump up and say, "Off with the ear of the Chevrolet!" And we'd all cheer it. It became real. The fucking embassy calls the United States. The embassy of London said, "What's with this James Farcici? Where is he?" They said, "You know." So they came up to the university. Where's the FBI? You know, where is Farcici? Never heard of him. So he called in again. School's going to stop it now. Nothing to do with it. He doesn't know James Farcici. It's a joke. It's not funny. Right? It's causing certain diplomatic communication problems. But you're making it look like the Shah of Iran kidnapped this guy and fucked him up. We said, well, he is kidnapping people and fucking them up. But there is no James Farcici. And we did. So then I said, we can't not do it. So we started a counter campaign called James Farcici is Every Man. Right? They went nuts, right? So they said, the state police investigated the mission to find out who was responsible for creating James Farcici. So we rolled on a non-existent human. We said there were communists up here, and the communists sold them to whoever James Jackson. Never seen him again, but they paid us each $35. Fucking month investigating somebody that doesn't exist.
This is the university, right?
Yeah, now it's the state because the state police at the university. Just like and we were walking around, dripping our brains out, and we were sort of, it was the time of the Rolling Stones and Country Joe and the Fish, and we were the counterculture heroes, Frank Zappa. We were fucking serious dudes on campus. You know, all the girls you want, you know, and you had all the acid to give up. Then they started tightening up on the acid door part, but not like this part, bro. It's just, it was a time, you know, and we were against the war, of course, the Vietnam War. Well, that was just about the time when it was shifting from you being unpatriotic for being against the war to being patriotic for being against the war.
Yeah.
And that's a weird phenomenon. Yeah, absolutely. You know, the Bible says in the Bible, the last shall be first. We shall be first. You just live. And we had the fucking Episcopal minister. And they were the liberals. They sponsored the black students. They sponsored it. You could use to print shit. You could use their equipment to print crazy shit. Name up newspaper with the broadside. And there's always one page on both sides. It's some of the most ridiculous shit you ever heard.
Do you have any copies of this stuff?
I don't know that I do. I may. And so, in the Episcopal ministers here,
Condone.
they give you, you know, they give you money, shit, do it, think you just, yeah, because they were a campus thing. And it just was, it was hilarious.
The super fat
grooves. The police want to know how many members there were of the supervisor. And we'd be at a table. And we say things like, well, we have levels of membership. And we have a woman's auxiliary. Well, how many is it? Total. We can't release their names, but we're up to around 7,000.
Are you making all this shit up?
We said we have a law of mothers. And then whatever we felt like riffing on, we would just say, there's a lot of servicemen who don't want to go to Vietnam. They all quit playing football because they want to get stoned all day long.
So Dan, you and Booker.
Win Road. Point Irons. Irons was a little young. Irons sort of came in and was part of it towards the. Oh yeah. Robert Heavy Lester Randall. We had an official softball team called Super Frat All Stars, and this redneck. We all had like long hair. They were redneck flying factories over there. And they're a league that they have. So we decided to we joined the league, right? Find the thing for the burner. Yeah, I'm gonna go for some on too. So we got some ringers to play for us. We're really good softball players. And so we would go in these leagues, which would be construction companies, upfield construction, and these people we beat. Crazy. Then they started digging. They started to wear wigs with long hair, just a jerk around. And we played all the American Legion post teams and this shit. They'd invite us into the bars afterwards, and we could drink all night. Then someone would try to buy you what's it was a trip. Yeah, that was it was. Now that's all compressed into probably 4 years.
So what initially put you on academic probation? So that you
I've done it several times. No,
social probation, yeah.
the original social probation.
Well, the one that created Super Fat, because I think that's a cool place to start. Super Fat was created as a result of my inability
to keep out Turkington.
Yeah.
What was that? A boy kick your in.
Yeah, that can be a really cool place to start. And introduce the
You know what I think it really was?
What?
Actually, I can sort of remember this. I think it was the James Rushy shoot. I think that was it. Because I can visualize Dean Kesey standing up, and they were embarrassed by it. School, you've embarrassed the school. Now the school has to deal with the State Department, and you're sitting here telling me there's no such person. And I remember saying yes, and the guy, I remember that's when he said, well then, what are they going to do? You can't do anything. So he said, you're on social probation. So James Farshishi affair was the
That came before Superfrat?
no, it was the birth of Superfrat as an entity. So it was like, since I can't be in a fraternity, the fraternity will adopt James Farshishi. We didn't stop when we told him stop. We just went outside and figured, now it's really fun. And we had rallies on the lawn of the Thompson Hall, and hung the flag upside down. Called for the president, whose name was McConnell at the time of the university, to resign for his complicity in right-wing foreign affairs. The guy was so old he could barely get out of bed. He couldn't do that. Right, we had students cheering. We had a bonfire, which was one of the first times we had a bonfire at football, where we were calling for the resignation of the president.
Resign or we'll burn you.
The Hampshire was pristine, and that was part of the beautiful part. This kind of shit doesn't happen there. What are they doing? They who were there, they didn't really suspect drugs until well into it. They couldn't believe that, fucking guys would be doing this shit. And you had Ken Kesey and the Merry Pranksters as a model, and Hunter Thompson.
So James Farshishi was your brainchild.
Well, that's not fair. I mean, it was a truly group effort. We were trying to think of something. Right? So we say, let's do this. So what should we name it? We actually got the name James Farshishi from an engineering. We looked in we got James, and then we got a different, he wasn't James Farshishi from the yearbook somewhere. That, had nothing to do with what was. I'd say if there was a beginning to it, that was surely it. And that went on, that became our theme. Because through the Episcopal Church, we could hold press conferences in the student union. And so we would just hold weekly updates and this shit. And they had the ability to keep it going. Now I think they probably have to do it quick.
Yeah, totally.
That's it.
Seems to me like a lot of the stuff that you got away with was because New Hampshire was so pristine.
Right, it was like they didn't know what to do, really.
Yeah.
And a lot of it was pretty funny. It really was.
So James, you created that character because, alright, so it's this Iranian guy who was kidnapped by the Shah of Iran,
The Sabak, which is their secret police, sent agent
to New Hampshire to capture
and lured him to Boston, where he was meeting with the Iranian community, and they grabbed him and put him on a plane.
and then cut his ear off.
And hasn't been heard of since.
And you guys are fighting for his liberation.
Yeah. At first it was we want him back, and we said, worst has happened. We want a formal apology from the Shah of Iran. Well, the United States would have a big problem with this. All right? This guy didn't, I guess it was the Shah didn't think that this particular little thing was particularly funny.
on during at the time?
Well, you had, politically, you had constant struggle over oil, you know, in the background, and you had Soviet, sometimes, you know, it wasn't big times, it was the Soviet tried to beat the West to the punch and get their hands on the oil. And so you had those types of competition.
What was the name of the Shah of Iran?
I just thought it was the Shah. I don't even know.
It didn't matter.
I don't think we ever knew.
That's fucking awesome. Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna write about. I'm gonna write about the birth of Jesus.
Now, there are super fat charter members available. Who can, I'm not making this up, who can tell you crazier shit than I can do? The cheerleader thing we did was, that was beyond fucking fair. You couldn't do that with a cheerleader. I mean,
Well, when you force the cheerleaders.
we didn't force anyone to do anything. Absolutely not. No. We put signs up to the church, would make the signs. Right? Cheerleading tryout for Superman. Right. 9:30 afternoon. Free alcohol. Free refreshment. Right. You had like all the sororities right on the same street. We will not accept people who are presently UNH cheerleaders. We want real women to act like that. But sitting there, and there's hundreds, not so exaggerated. Well, they're alright. Show us what you got. Okay, you can come back, you cannot come back. And we have the prizes at by nighttime. We had 2 kegs of beer, chocolate sandwiches. We had a fucking party with it. Everyone was drunk. Half of the people aren't active. And we just like give the little cheerleaders acid and take them into Winwood in the Quonset hut, which is like going down. Right on the corner. Just take them in there and fuck them. And no, it wasn't rape. I mean, I know rape. It was like, well, I wanted to really give them a drug. But they were having a great time. They would find out about it. The school would find out about it. Then they started sending off. It was the beginning of them being undercover. And they would send undercover. Except in those days, the undercover agents would always show up wearing black sneakers and white socks.
All fat and
Yeah, you could obviously tell it.
2 days ago, we go like, what the fuck was wrong with that? You say, come on, dude.
They're different from everyone else.
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
They always say things like, what's going on? Who's got the drugs? Oh my God. Keep your day job. Keep your day job. Well, who do you think I am? You're a state policeman. Sure. And we don't know anything about drugs. And we don't know what's going on. So always just like bringing everybody down. I wouldn't mind doing a hit myself. Well, I wouldn't know what you're talking about. And you just stand there with like 6 neo-American church tabs and you look in the eye of this undercover trooper. And you were bigger than they were in terms of you have mojo because you're high.
Yeah.
And they go, well, I'm going to go down. I'll go get some more beer. We have enough beer. fingers on it. JT and his boy used to be there. He said, we got it all going on. And they go away. They would never go away. Never in a million years.
And just call more. Oh.
But it wasn't the time yet. You know, it was cool. The reports, which I made go up. The police reports of what was going on there were bizarre. I mean, they didn't know what was going on, even though it was going right smack dab in front of their face. There was a place out by, on the way to Dover, I can't remember the name of the road. I drove by the place the other day. It was a farmhouse that some people rented there. And we had, that's where we stored all the acid and shit. And I actually was there once when they raided it. I thought we were dead meat. But we hadn't been attending to that little problem. They came in there, looked around with all the shit, looked through all the drawers, and it'd be like a fucking pound of pot up there on that shelf right. They never got it.
Other than dogs with them.
Didn't have it.
Yeah, it's different.
It was different. They didn't have dogs. And they were so uncomfortable being there because they thought hippies
Afraid to get shot.
were dirty in that life and no hate.
Afraid of diseases.
Random those who have
So, at the time, like, explain your drug usage. Like, you were on acid most of the time?
every day.
Every day?
I set the record between me and Booker. I took acid once every day for 60 days. We're trying to see what happened to you if you did that. What happened to you? Suicide.
Yeah.
Every day.
Maybe for 1 weekend.
Hot. So, every day. Hot.
How'd you feel afterwards? Was there, like, any kind of...
Well, there wasn't any afterwards. Negative. I mean, when it was all up at the end of the 60 days.
Yeah.
Feeling just
Fucked up. You know, but you crash and sleep for 3 or 4 days. I used to sleep. I didn't sleep on it. Not well. I mean, then now if it was cut with, you know, ammonia-based cocaine or something like that, which they used to do to make it psychedelic.
Mm-hmm.
That would keep you up. But so we tried to get pure acid. That's why we went to Cambridge. She had Richard Alpert and Tim Leary. And it was legal. You get pure LSD. Pure as good as fun. That was cool because you could sleep on it.
You learned to function fairly well.
Oh yeah. I took my PhD general exams on LSD. Oh.
And I'm assuming that you passed with flying colors.
Did it? Matter. But it's not rain.
Well, we got all in it. Well, it's all lowering. Afterwards, I put on lowering last night.
No, I was thinking what it was for.
You turn it on. And you turn it off.
The dean. The dean that you're talking about?
No, Kanky.
Kenky. No. Look at his hand.
time that the flower movement, that's what time it was. Even though you would think that their counterculture values would be the same, they weren't, and there was conflict. Much like there was between the Hells Angels and hippies. There was between the beatniks and hippies. Hells Angels and beatniks saw themselves as nothing to do with flowers and love and implicit homosexuality or the feminizing of what it meant to be a male. They were Hells Angels, thereabouts. And I, because of only because of circumstance of time, was in between those two things. I was a beatnik who was a hippie, which has a lot to do with Superfly. You know, the hippies at UNH, and that was when they started out, like, were against Superfly, much like they would be against the beatniks, because we mixed it up in a way that they thought was like sexist, and peace and love, you know, giving black guys guns, encouraging them to fight was not a hippie thing. However, we in a sense were leaders for the hippies because of what time it was. The fucking police would have had their way with them. They wouldn't fuck with them in a strange way because of us. Now, that would be all different facts. They come for us in a second. But they wouldn't have time because they didn't know what the fuck to do. Were we serious? Were we armed? Were we, football players? Blacks? I mean, it seemed like a gang. Super Frat was a gang that they'd never heard of, they'd never seen. And that creates cultural space for the hippies. We don't give a fuck about hippies. They're pretty little girls, and we can give them drugs, we fuck them. The rest of the stuff was not something really we're into. Why were we against the war? Because it was a way to play. Now, none of us go fight the war. But it created a theater more than deep moral conviction that to wage war in Indochina against defenseless people who take over the country. That was easy. We all had high IQs and were well read. That's really what we were doing. We're rocking and rolling in a void, a cultural void that kept itself moving. That was just that.
Well put, man. I'm really glad I got that on tape. Yeah, because you keep referring back to like your age and you being in between, like not committed to a particular group, and that allowed you to take from various groups, the blacks, the hippies, the beats, the thugs, and all that kind of thing. So like you were at the
and essentially that opened me as a person. So I've always felt blessed. There is little I haven't seen. And it opened me to the diversity of people across the board and the diversity of events. I've seen everything. Not like I've seen that. I'm saying like I'm still that exact same way even at this moment. I like the action. I don't feel 62 years old. I don't care that I almost died. I don't feel any different or any more or less open than I have my whole life to the action. You know, and I consider that to be a blessing.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
It's like, because I see what happens when it doesn't happen. not for someone your age, but for my peers.
I know you're going little. I thought I was gonna go nowhere with my whole accident about 6 years ago. My life changed. It felt like I got out of jail.
And you're not afraid anymore.
No.
That's why I always tell Liz, that's why I did it during the morning. She'll say, careful. I said, I'm not. I mean, I'm not afraid of that. And other people that I was close to have that. It's like whatever comes across the bow, you deal with it then. And you learn how to deal with it. Now, that's I remember telling Liz that she finally got, she asked me about the police once. What's the deal with police? I said, we used to have a rule. Less time, down to minutes, you spend in the presence of a police officer, the better off you are. You remember that when he stops you, forget all the other things you know. Just don't spend any time. Discuss philosophy. Don't discuss how you're sorry, how you're ashamed. Keep it down to a couple minutes. You'll get off much quicker. Works for me.
Yeah, work for her. She was
yeah. No. Nothing.
I never called them in front of the cop in person.
But they get out of it.
And so you picked up things like that. Actually, I think that was in Kankakee. It's just like, and I suppose it's hard to say it keeps you young, because I don't know if that's it. I don't know if it's young or old. But it's, you know, I've had people ask me recently, don't you feel like you're getting older? What? I know my body's getting older. But no, I don't. And I do wake up every morning at 6 o'clock. And I do some outrageous things to my body, which I should never do. It doesn't matter. I'm not afraid. I don't know how to be any different.
And what's that the result of?
I don't know. I don't. I think it was an accumulation of experiences. You know, I like to say it's because I was born that way, because I'm smarter than other people. I don't believe that for a second. I just I was open and receptive to so many experiences, so many different ones, so many crazy ones, that I achieved a level in my own head of what's cool and what's not cool. I mean, I can go over there and pick up Emily in the morning, and there's enough hormones in there to rock the earth. There was a point in my life when I tried to make that okay, and I now have the ability to, I don't even hear it. I just stand there, and 7:30. You know? She can't win it. It's like it doesn't register. I mean, I hear it, but it's my own word on the Zen state to it. It's just noise. It's a dance. They're dancing. They're women who dance. Women tend to do that. You know, and they have a particularly vicious style. And it goes away. You know, all the hate that goes on there for that critical 10 minutes in the morning, they're all hugging each other.
Yeah, I love you, I love you.
Yeah, I love you. And I used to think, that's fucking crazy. And I said, what? That's what they do. In fact, I was sitting on the toilet shitting when I discovered it. In an upstairs bathroom when I lived there. They'd fight every morning right outside that door. And you know, the door would be shut because I'd be shitting in a pleasurable act. And I'm hearing them and I'm saying, man, someone's called cops. going to kill each other. I put this with Elizabeth. Three of them. Elizabeth, Nancy, and then I finished shitting and they had gone downstairs. And I opened the door, went downstairs, and then they were they're hugging each other. And the experience had taken a good shit. And the door being shut so alienated physically I couldn't see them. Yet I could hear them taught me a lesson, which is they just dance. It's not my job to get in the middle of that dance. Because I'm one of the dance partners. They need to beat each other up. That's part of their deal. And once they do that, they go on to the next thing. And I just took that as a wisdom. So maybe it was because I was taking a shit. I don't know.
Maybe they weren't really fighting, maybe they were trying to face you.
No, I'm convinced they weren't. I'm convinced they didn't give me shit who was there. And it's just what they do. It's a matter of course. I'm going to have a cigarette first.
Barely.
We all then barely turn on.
But, yeah, I guess as a starting point, I'd like to write about super. Yeah. The conceptualization of how that all began. And I guess the other day after we had lunch in Durham, I was really intrigued and interested in writing about your experiences on the wall. And like using that, like the wall as a way to kind of bridge off to these various other activities. Like one of the beats, other James questions.
They are so long. Actually, as we're doing this,